So we started this, last week was our first introductory call, and today's the first of our sequence. And really we have we have a total of 7 different topics that we're going to talk about in the process. The idea being, the process of going from a non-homeowner to homeowner is kind of like going from a caterpillar to a butterfly. It's a transformation. It's not just as simple as walking into the local market and buying milk. In some ways it could be, but for most people, the first thing that prevents them is their mindset. If you think of yourself as a tenant or an occupant of a property, then to get the idea that you're going to put money out, investment money, capital, and take responsibility for a property is perhaps a big leap of faith. It is for most people, I find. In my experience as a real estate agent for 36 years, that for most people, it's too big of a challenge. And so our goal today, number one, we'll talk about is buying really for you. And Doris mentioned that she has a property. She might be looking for something else because she inherited it. And I don't know about her, but many people inherit property but never bought it. And going through the process can be challenging, can be difficult, even under the easiest of circumstances. And if you're older, perhaps there's more issues. So there's the logistical part, but there's also just the mindset part. And so the first thing you have to think about is buying another property for you? If so, why? We know from the book Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, that to accomplish something in life, you have to think about why you want it and make it like a fire. And the more it burns, the higher it burns. That's what drives our motivation to get something done. So when somebody's in a property that they don't like, whether they're a tenant or it's too small, they have kids, or maybe it's upstairs and they're older, or whatever the reasons are, they don't like the neighborhood. We all can go through life and settle for something and just go through life frustrated and settling. Or we can get clear on what we want. And so it first starts with getting clear, what do you want in your life? And how does the house affect that? Is it about wealth? You want to buy a house that's going to go up in value? Is it about income? Do you want to buy a property where you're going to either lower your payments or get income from other people living in the property? Whether it be a house or duplex or triplex, you can get income and live for free or live for a reduced amount. What is it that's important to you? And so think about it. I'm going to urge you to think about it or put it in the chat box or raise your hand and ask a question or unmute. Ask yourself, why is buying a house important to you? And so think back, if you would, about those, if you've bought a house before, what the reason is. So I'll share with me and I'll ask you guys to participate. And just again, reminder that the more you participate in anything, the more you get out of it. So I bought my first house in 1987. I was married in 86. We entered escrow in September 1986. I remember, no, that's not right, 87. We entered in September 87, and we didn't close escrow until beginning of 88. I was married in 86, November. In 87, we entered escrow to buy a house in the beginning of August. And in September, the stock market dropped. It was Black Tuesday in 1987. And we had the money for our down payment and closing costs in the bank. And when the stock market went down, we bought stock and it went up right away about 20, 25%. We made some good money on that stock during that downturn. But we were committed to buying a house. We were already in escrow at that point. And so for me, it just seemed like we were going to buy a house to live in, my wife and I, and raise our family. The first house was a little smaller. We knew it was a gateway. And then we ended up a year later selling that house. We bought it for $142,000. We sold for $240,000 the next year, took that money and bought the next house with it. We bought a beautiful 4-bedroom home with a view and 2.5 acres and a cul-de-sac and lived there for about 10 years. So the first house we bought, we bought it because I knew we wanted to buy a house to start a family. I knew that wasn't going to be the house. What's your reason why?